This is an amazing moment, ladies and gentlemen. As mentioned, our colleague Jose Serrano has been a champion on this cause for many years, and I miss him dearly, and I look forward to seeing him very, very soon. There are more than 58 million reasons as why we need a National Museum of the American Latino. Since the founding of our great nation, Latinos have been largely invisible and excluded from the history books. Our community has been used as scapegoats for the problems America faces. We are looked at as others and have been made to feel like outsiders in our own country. The root of this problem stems from a lack of knowledge and appreciation of the Latino contributions to the America's success. Now more than ever, even Latinos are being vilified and spoken of as less than. The American people deserve to learn the truth of our history and our heritage. The American Latino Museum is essential to sharing the stories and the journey of Latinos in America, from America's original sin of Native American genocide, the American Civil War, and through the Civil Rights Movement, to the horrors of the deadly El Paso shooting, where 23 people were killed at the hands of a murderer who drove hundreds of miles with the sole intent of killing as many Mexicans as possible. We must teach our entire history, the beautiful, the glorious, and the horrors and the injustices. Our story is the story of the United States of America. If we truly want to build a country that works for everyone, we must start by including everyone. We owe it to ourselves and our children to learn about Latino history in America. That's exactly what museums are for, to teach and inspire. For years, I, along with Congressmembers Serrano, Hurd, Sanchez, Roybal Allard, Aguilar, and many others, have worked tirelessly to gain bipartisan support in finally establishing a Latino museum. We understand its symbolic and historical significance for our country. Latinos make up 70%, more than 58 million people of the United States population, and is the largest and fastest growing ethnic group in America. Hispanic Americans contribute more than $2.3 trillion to the United States economy every year. That GDP would make itself a country of the 8th largest economy in the world. People like my brother-in-law, who was born in Mexico and served in the United States Army, was shot and wounded while fighting for our country in Vietnam. His story deserves to be heard. Today, there are more than 200,000 Hispanic active duty service members serving in the United States Armed Forces. 60 Hispanic Americans have received the Congressional Medal of Honor, the highest award for valor in action against an enemy force that can be bestowed on an individual serving in the armed forces of the United States of America. Our story is America's story, and Latino history is American history. Latino leaders were key players during the U.S. Civil Rights Movement, historical movements like the Chicano Civil Rights and labor movements, which included some of the largest student walkouts in American history, are not taught in our classrooms. Americans like Dolores Huerta, who was beaten within an inch of her life, and Navy veteran Cesar Chavez have been instrumental in securing American workers' rights. In the face of relentless brutality and adversity, Huerta and Chavez remained committed to nonviolence while fighting for farm workers' rights. Workers who were maimed or died while working in the fields and cast aside like forgotten fruit by farm owners. Dolores and Cesar prevailed by establishing the first farm workers' union in the United States, forever changing the course of this nation for the better. There are countless stories of American Latinos, stories of perseverance, dedication, and beating the odds to achieve their dreams, like the story of my friend and astronaut Jose Hernandez. Jose grew up in a poor farm worker family. As a child, he would work in the fields before sunrise and look up at the stars, dreaming of going to space. Jose followed that dream through his college career and as a scientist and engineer. His journey took him from the fields of California as a farm worker to the NASA space program. Jose applied to the NASA space program 13 times to be rejected 12 times. After his 13th attempt, he was finally accepted into the program and fulfilled his childhood dream, becoming the first astronaut to communicate back to Earth in Spanish from space. Jose's story is a story of perseverance, dedication, and unshakable will. Jose's inspiring story deserves to be heard and shared so that every child, regardless of race or personal circumstances, can achieve his or her dreams, like little Joaquini or Jimena or little Sky or little Sage. They deserve those inspirations to see somebody who looks like them achieve their dreams. A National Latino Museum is a fitting and appropriate way for all Americans to celebrate and learn the truth about how Latinos have contributed to our great country. to honor Latinos who are on the front lines and who literally gave their lives in service of our nation. A Smithsonian Museum dedicated to the Latino history and culture would educate the American public on the stories of American Latinos that are excluded from our museums, schools, and history books.
I'll yield an additional 30 seconds.
Thank you very much, my
The
good
gentleman is
friend.
recognized
Thank
for
you.
an additional 30 seconds.
It's time we establish a national museum devoted to American Latino history and culture. We are a great nation, but this nation is incomplete without giving the honor, respect that every single community deserves. And I thank my colleagues for this opportunity to share this beautiful moment with all of America so that we can make this museum real. Thank you.